It's championship day in the British Minibikes, the road to MotoGP here at Wilton Mill in Northamptonshire. Round 6 of the British Minibikes Championships, and it's the last one for so many of our classes, including to kick us off, the Minimoto rookies. This is the day that Emilio Pereira has been waiting for. Can he seal the deal on Nelly Nuth, or can she close him down? Tommy Williams is on pole position from Freddie Taylor in second place. Then the title contenders, Nuth and Pereira. Joey Atherzic in P5 from Finley Styles in P6. Behind them, Charlie Bunn will be ahead of Austin Dilks and James Dermott. Dilks hoping his bike is on full song today. Randy Carter is ahead of Logan Paisley. It'll be a fascinating battle between Pereira and Nuth for the title, but what can Freddie Taylor do? Can he take on Tommy Williams in this penultimate race of the season? Let's race! 6 to 9 years of age, these riders. What a start from Emilio Pereira. Oh, and that's Charlie Bunn. Sticky Bun's gone down. That is such a shame for Charlie. Hopefully he is able to be in the final race of the day, but that's done for him. Well, fortunately he can walk away. But Freddie Taylor is your initial leader. Pereira, though, is going to finish the job and get into the lead. Beautifully done there from Emilio Pereira. He leads. The young lad from Middlesbrough is on the course for the championship title. And look at Tommy Williams. Storms in up the inside of Freddie Taylor. Nelly Nuth is in 4th position. This is bad news for her. It's pretty much curtains for the championship if it stays like this. 15 points between them, don't forget, and there's 50 points on the table. So if Emilio Pereira outscores Nelly by 10, which is likely to be the case at the moment with her being down in 4th, that's 13 points compared to 25, then that will give Emilio Pereira the championship. So Nelly Nuth has to get back into the top 3 to keep the championship alive for one more race. So there is Charlie Bunn's bike. Fortunately, he's okay. The bike probably less so, but they've got time to work on it before the last race of the season. Look at Tommy Williams hustling Emilio Pereira. Now, Williams can be a real thorn in Pereira's side here, championship-wise, because if Nuth gets ahead of Taylor and Williams gets ahead of Pereira, the championship fight will go down to the last race of the season. So Tommy Williams all over the back of Emilio Pereira. Nelly Nuth is going for 3rd place on Freddie Taylor. Job done! Into 3rd place she goes. So that is 20 points potentially for Pereira, 25 points, sorry, potentially for Pereira ahead of Williams, and 16 for Nelly Nuth. So that will mean that the championship fight will go up from 15 points to 24 points, with 25 available in the final race. So Nelly Nuth has just got to keep the power on, got to keep the hunger flying. She's into 3rd position. Tommy Williams is hustling for Emilio Pereira. If he can get through, then this championship is going to be even closer than that. So can Tommy Williams get the move on Pereira? Tommy Williams working hard. But Nelly Nuth in 3rd position, Alan. This is exactly what she needs. Stay as close to Pereira as possible in the points table.
Yeah, absolutely. She needs Williams to pass him, basically, although she could do with passing the pair of them. 3rd place, no good for her. She's got to finish in front of the 31 bike, no doubt about it. And at the moment, he's leading, and he's set the fastest lap.
Well, Tommy Williams is closing up on Emilio Pereira, and they've got traffic to deal with already. That is Austin Dilks having an even worse day at the office than yesterday. Goodness me, Austin Dilks, who was a front runner at Three Sisters, he doesn't even look like the same rider that we saw at Wigan.
Incredible, incredible. Dad, what did you do with those spanners? I can hear him saying after this.
Well, Emilio Pereira ran wide as a result of that. And look at Tommy Williams, he's going to commit right round the outside of Wilkins. Can he finish that off in Osiers? No way! What a run from Tommy Williams! That is an amazing bit of racecraft. He gets ahead of Pereira, and that means that Pereira's down to 20 points, Nelly Nuth on 16, so that means that Pereira will only gain 4 points on Nuth. That will take it from 15 to 19, and that means that the championship fight will still be very much on into the last race of the season later.
Yeah, absolutely. As they come through the line, so Williams lead, Pereira, Nuth, Freddie Taylor still in the mix. Here comes Finley Styles and Joey Atherzic. They're rounding out the top 6 as things stand. Buck on the drone. That is Nelly Nuth pictured, the young lady from Chippenham.
Is that Pereira back through?
Is Pereira for the lead again. The Middlesbrough man back in front. He's not taking second today.
No, Emilio Pereira wants to win the championship in this race. Never mind the second one later. He wants to become the British Minibikes Minimoto Rookies Champion in the penultimate race of the season, not the last one. He doesn't want to have to race twice today. So up the inside, Tommy Williams has another look. Not going to happen. Tommy Williams is going to have to work very hard to get past Emilio Pereira. He looks left, he looks right, he looks left again. Is he going to be able to find the move? Well, he's certainly going to have to work at it. But these three have absolutely checked out from Freddie Taylor, who is there in 4th position still. There's Finley Styles and Joey Atherzic. And Tommy Williams still hustling. Emilio Pereira is there in the lead of the race still, having taken it back at Christmas. But look at Tommy Williams, still got good pace here. And of course, Tommy Williams has the advantage that he has nothing to lose.
No, nothing to lose. And of course, it's helping out Nelly Newth, the fact that these two are battling, as Pereira puts in the fastest lap once more.
And Nelly Newth is actually closing in on these two as a result. She's done a 103.6. Pereira did the same on the last lap, but Tommy Williams a 104.0. So look at Nelly Newth. She is gaining in confidence and gaining in speed all the time. She really is tightening in this gap as Tommy Williams is actually struggling to take on Emilio Pereira. He was dominant yesterday in round 5. Here today, it's already looking pretty tricky for him.
You know, I was talking about maths before and, schooling and why would the kids have a day off school to go practicing on a Friday. Again, there's maths in play here. And Nelly Newth, she may be young, but she will know exactly the position in the championship points. And she'll know third place for her, no good at all.
So there is the opportunity from Tommy Williams. Look at Nelly Newth closing up. Oh no, she's gone! Nelly Newth has gone! And that's the championship over! Oh, poor Nelly Newth. Well, she has to get out of the way of the racers. Oh, she'll be devastated. All she'll be thinking about is that's the championship gone.
Well, she was lucky there not to stumble into another rider. And talk about stumbling, as a former nightclub owner, I can tell you, next Saturday night you'll see a few ladies stumbling around like that at the end of a Saturday night in Newcastle.
Poor Nelly Newth. She was doing everything right. It had all gone brilliantly up to that point, but she just took it. Perhaps the line or the angle was just a little bit too acute, and unfortunately unsettled the bike, and Nelly Newth is out. And of course, in this category, as in all junior categories, you cannot restart.
Yeah, can't pick the bike up, she can't get going again. That's all the points gone, and that's the championship decided. Emilia Pereira will be the 2024 champion after this race.
That's devastating for Nelly Newth. You have to give her full credit, considering she has missed a round of the championship this year as well. She took the fight all the way to the season finale, and mark my words, she is going to be a proper talent for the future. I can see her at World Superbike. I can see her at the Isle of Man TT. I can see her in MotoGP one day. She's got all the credit coming.
Yeah, no doubt, and she's got a lot of fans on our channels, by the way. People that have been watching the coverage have been talking about how they've enjoyed seeing her race, and she's a talent moving forward. And you're going to get a chance to watch that talent from the age that she is now all the way through to when she becomes a teenager, hopefully gets a place in the British Talent Cup, and then maybe ends up in MotoGP, who knows.
Well, for one rider to fall out of the championship fight, we now get to focus on the rider that's got the job done. Emilio Pereira now can have fun with Tommy Williams, racing him wheel to wheel. He can even let Williams go, not that he's going to want to, but the job is done. Finley Starr's there in 4th position, trying to get through the traffic, trying desperately not to trip over Austin Dilks, who is just, this is not the ride we expect to see from Austin Dilks at all.
I said it earlier, Austin Dilks is a much better rider, guys, than the viewers are watching here. A much better rider than the rider we're seeing currently in 9th place. This is the battle for the lead.
Look at Tommy. He's trying to go the long way round at Crooked Oblivion. A long, fine lady, getting much more aggressive than we've seen in the last couple of laps. He's just not quite able to get there, though. Emilio Pereira, whatever they changed on the bike from yesterday, Pereira so much quicker today, and he's clearly got one eye on the championship.
Yeah, anytime you can match Tommy Williams' pace, you know you've got some serious pace. And whatever happened with his bike overnight, his dad's been he's had the spanners out clearly, and has made some changes to the bike, setup changes, maybe he's changed an engine, I'm not sure. But he's certainly got a quicker bike today than he had yesterday, and Williams is finding that out.
It's worth pointing out as we look at Freddie Taylor there in 3rd position, looking good for the podium. Then Finley Starrs, Joey Alazic, and that's James Dermott in 6th position. But it's worth pointing out, Tommy Williams hasn't done the full season this year, don't forget. And he has not lost a race that he has started in the Minimoto Rookie Series in 2024 up to this point. So for Emilio Pereira to win the championship and beat Tommy Williams in one race, well, that'll feel like Christmas has come very early.
Yeah, absolutely. We go past what I'm calling the silver birch. My new arborist skills. That's what I'm thinking it is. Anyway, looks
tree
like
surgeon.
a
Tree surgeon, you're a gardener.
Looks like a silvery sort of tree to me, so I'm going to call it a silver birch.
Well, Williams is really starting to size up the attack on Emilio Pereira, but can he make it work? That's the real deal here. As Emilio Pereira is adamant, if I'm going to be champion, I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to do it by percentages. I'm going to beat him in a straight fight for the victory. He's already the champion, but he would dearly love to put the cherry on the cake by beating Tommy Williams, the man who has not been beaten at any point this season. Here we go, side by side on the last lap. Tommy Williams, the man who has been undefeated all season long on the blue bike with the blue overalls. Emilio Pereira in the black and red overalls with the black bike. This is going to be an interesting one to see if Emilio Pereira can hang on from Tommy Williams. Williams will dive into Ashby, but he's going to overshoot. Emilio Pereira will have it straight back again. Tommy Williams was going to try and keep his unbeaten, undefeated record unblemished. And he's still giving it everything he's got. Can he do it? He's only got a few corners left to retaliate from Emilio Pereira. Tommy Williams, the 51. He's been invincible all year, but can the new champion get him done and dusted in this one? There is a battle going on further back, by the way, between Austin Dilks and Logan Paisley. But the battle is over for Emilio Pereira. He's taken Tommy Williams on. He's beaten him. He's won the race. And he's won the Minimoto Rookies Championship all in one. What a way to do it for Emilio Pereira. Tommy Williams is second. Freddie Taylor will be third position. There is Finley Stiles. He'll hang on for fourth place. These two riders, Joey Alazich and James Dermott, will come through for fifth and sixth. There is Freddie Taylor in a solid third place. He gets the podium. But the new champion, Emilio Pereira, comes up from fourth on the grid to get the job done his way. Tommy Williams is finally beaten in 24. Freddie Taylor third from Stiles, Alazich, Dermott, Carter and Dilks, with Logan Paisley ninth. Full credit to Nelly Newth. So unfortunate that she couldn't finish the race. She was in the fight for the championship right to the last. So we continue on our coverage with the FIM Mini GP UK 190 title battle. Henry McCartney, Blake Wilson and Marco Holt. This time split up a little. Jensen Bishop is going off P3. Arnie Carr is fifth. Annabelle McCarthy is in sixth position on the starting grid. And behind them, we have Sid Marshall. But this is the trio that have been racing each other all season long. Jensen Bishop is already eclipsed, as we've now got McCartney, Wilson and Holt at each other's throats again. It's the riders class between the riders aged 12 to 16. We're on board with Jensen Bishop, and this is what it's looked like to see the top three riders in this championship get ahead of you and disappear into the distance. He is one of the local riders here, of course, Jensen Bishop, from nearby Northampton. But look at these three, they're just so exceptional to watch. Marco Holt already putting Blake Wilson under some pressure. But again, Blake Wilson just needs to stay upright as the others have fallen. There's the move on the inside from Marco Holt. Tries to go for Blake Wilson on the first lap. They'll try anything to put Blake Wilson off, because if he falls just once this weekend, then all of a sudden the last race of the season, the last race of the weekend, could be the greatest we have ever seen in British Minibikes. Mind you, race 2 yesterday was pretty amazing.
It certainly was. We're on karting circuits, by the way, guys. If you're watching the British Minibikes Championship for the first time and wondering what we're racing on, we're on karting tracks. 2 wheels this time, though. As up the inside of Blake Wilson goes Marco Holt through to second place. Any time that your name's Jensen Bishop and you can be close, this close to the championship leader Blake Wilson, by the way, you know you've got some talent.
Yeah, Jensen Bishop has been doing such hard work all weekend to try and stay with these three, who are in a class of their own and have been all season long. So this is already a much better start for Jensen Bishop, having been third position on the grid, and now he's riding with them. We've got a quartet. If only we had a few more rounds left of the championship. It'd be great to see what Jensen Bishop could throw into the mix with these three.
Yeah, again, earlier on we were talking about riders that will be riders to watch next season, 2025 and beyond, what we call our Project 2025, not Donald Trump's. That is our onboard cameraman Jensen Bishop, and in 2025, look out for him to be a player in this championship.
Oh, no doubt. He's definitely one of the riders that we have got our eye on, and certainly he'll be doing a lot of hard work over the winter. He's already gaining in stature and confidence all the time. And look at how close he is to them compared to yesterday. Yesterday, these three were disappearing into the distance and leaving everybody for dead. Jenson Bishop able to stick with them like glue now. And even if he falls away, this is such a better ride. Look at the lap times he's coming up with, 52 threes, 52 fours. He's riding a second quicker today than he was yesterday, and the other three aren't.
Yeah, Marco Holt's the fastest man on the track as he went through the line last time. Not got track position though. He's still the fastest man. He's just set another fastest lap, but he's about to take the lead here, Jake, is he? As he comes past Fine Lady up, Manuel's bang in the Christmas corner. He has a look, but can't get the job done yet.
He's definitely having to think about it, but it's definitely two-way traffic now between McCartney and Holt. I think Marco Holt has realised he can't really shake off Blake Wilson. He can't upset the balance there, so he's going to have to see what he can do to get into Henry McCartney's mindset. So this is still very much a three-man battle. If Marco Holt can take the win off Henry McCartney, he can get himself very much back into the championship fight and close up on Henry McCartney. All three of these riders, by the way, are guaranteed their spots in the World Series. But this is about bragging rights. This is about trying to see who can get there to the top end. And this is very important for every rider to get that psychological edge over their two opponents.
Yeah, it certainly is. Blake Wilson not going crazy here. He knows he's got the championship pretty much won. He doesn't have to do anything too crazy, just got to finish third and then third later. That'll be enough for him to take the title.
I mean, it'll certainly be enough. He may be thinking about it in terms of the calculations. Well, yeah, I'd love to go for these two, but look at the risks they're taking. I don't want to get into that, as Henry McCartney very nearly gets a bike in his left ankle, in his right ankle there. Goodness me. That was a very tricky one for Marco Holt. He genuinely thought he had the move on there from Henry McCartney, and at the last minute, at the 11th hour, he suddenly went, you know what, we're going to make contact, so I'm going to have to back out of this. So he's going to have to try again. He really needs something to happen and tip the balance here, because Marco Holt needs to get some points back from Henry McCartney. Blake Wilson being in third position. Oh, no! Marco Holt's down! Championship over for Marco Holt! I can't believe it. That's the second time he's gone down this season after his fall at Rowrah, and now again here at Wilton Mill. It's now a two-man battle for the championship. It's Blake Wilson versus Henry McCartney, and McCartney leads as we go into the closing stages.
Yeah, Marco Holt, it says everything about Marco Holt really, doesn't it? He's all or nothing. He's all in all the time. Doesn't matter whether, you know, what the championship position is, what the championship standings are. He's going flat out everywhere. And that, I guess, listen, that bodes well moving forward. He's an out-and-out racer, and it's as simple as that. Arnie Carr, we're looking up there, who's currently in fourth place.
Yeah, the man, of course, who is named after the late, great Marco Simoncelli, carries his number as well in his riding, Marco Holt. He's turning into another Barry Sheene, isn't he? You're absolutely right in terms of his levels of commitment. He just doesn't know anything other than 110%.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He reminds me very much of Casey O'Gorman. We filmed Casey from the age of 5, and he's missed 110% for sure.
Well, Henry McCartney is going to come through to take some points off Blake Wilson. That will bode him well for the final race of the season, but it's one hand on the trophy for Blake Wilson. Henry McCartney's going to come through in fine style. The victory will be his. Blake Wilson in second position. And Jenson Bishop, what a solid ride it's been for Jenson Bishop in this one. Okay, he fell away from the top two, but a podium, and under those circumstances, he's definitely improving all the time. Arnie Carter P4 from Annabelle McCarthy and Sid Marshall. Marco Holt is win it or bin it, and on this occasion, it was the latter. There's still one race left in the championship, and it's going to be McCartney versus Wilson. Can Henry McCartney do the impossible? We will find out later. Straight back into the action once again then, and it's time for the Mini GP 110, the Ovales. Mason Frederick, Sebastian Gosnowski, and the new champion, Max Robinson. Leo Soliu, Caden Herring, and Leon Simpson are together then on the second run of the ladder. And it's going to be interesting to see if Frederick can pull off another victory. Cian Daly, Mason Hams, Jasper O'Neill-White, and then Austin Wilton and Ella Mosgrove. After 2 wins out of 2 in round 5 yesterday, can Mason Frederick make it 4 out of 4? Let's find out. It's a great start as Max Robinson has lost a bit of ground already. Gosnowski is your leader, second is Mason Frederick, and they are already charging their way to Christmas Corner. But Max Robinson is riding with the confidence in third position, looking so smooth now that he has got the championship. Well, oh, lovely move on the inside from Caden Herring. He absolutely mugs Leon Simpson through Christmas. He was not expecting anything like that, as Leo Soliu finds himself in fourth position in front of Caden Herring. There is still a fight on in the championship, but it's not for the victory, it's for second place in the championship. And you've got the likes of Gazlawski, Fedric, Soliu, Herring, Simpson, all trying to pick up decent results at the end of the season. Robinson may be uncatchable, but there's pride at stake everywhere else.
And good to see him racing today, Jake, as well. He's won the championship, and a lot of riders would just sit out. But, well, he's here, may as well have some fun. He's got no pressure on him. The man from County Antrim, there he is pictured in third place, but he's the championship winner in 2024 in this class.
Yet another Northern Irish superstar in bikes. They are just so good at this sport. Here's the move up the inside from Mason Fedric. He's going to make it happen so early on. Oh, lovely from Fedric. Absolutely the way it should be done. And Mason Fedric gets the move on Gazlawski, and Robinson no longer under pressure. He's just having fun out there. He can go, right, well, let's see if I can get these two.
Yeah, we were saying earlier that Fedric's going to be, well, I said if William Hill's making a book, the bookmakers, they have him certainly, if not the favourite. He's a close second favourite for next season. I think he's the favourite, frankly, because I'm not sure what these other riders will do. Will they move up a class? They might do, and it might mean that he's out on his own.
Could be a fascinating battle in 2025, but here's Gazlawski putting Mason Fedric under more pressure, and Max Robinson chasing them down as they come across the line now. They are fairly evenly matched for pace. Robinson going slightly quicker than Gazlawski. Clearly he was just playing the percentages yesterday to get the job done. Today, well, he's just going to go and have some fun. He knows now he's the champion. He had to bag a couple of third places. He did so. Now, it doesn't matter. He's not got anything else on his plate this weekend, so he may as well just go out there and play.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. But Fedric with 2 wins yesterday. If he picks up 2 wins today, you have to think about it for next season. You basically are taking 4 wins at the end of the previous season. That pretty much will automatically make you the favourite for next season in the same class. So it'll be interesting to see how this race pans out.
It should just about take him to third position in the championship as well. I think he'll just about get there. It's a couple of points here or there, so it'll all come down to where Caden Herring, Leon Simpson and Leo Soliu finish up. Look how close it is between the top 3, even though the championship's been won by the man at the back of this train, Max Robinson. Look how brilliant the racing is. Gazlawski's got a run here on Fedric. Robinson's got a run on both of them. Almost took them both on. Gazlawski's going to dive in up the inside of Fedric. He takes the lead back. Robinson thinks, do you know what? I do not want to end my championship year with a broken leg. I am staying well out of this, and I'm going to pick another opportunity. That got very close indeed there for the riders, but Gazlawski getting his move there beautifully on the inside of Mason Fedric as Max Robinson just sits and waits.
Leon Simpson in 4th place, Caden Herring 5th, Leo Soliu 6th. They're battling for 4th, 5th and 6th, but this is the battle for the lead, and this is that battle for 4th, 5th and 6th as they go through Oziers one more time.
Do I spy Caden Herring at the front of it? Yes, I do. So Caden Herring has actually got himself up into 4th position. He's got ahead of Leon Simpson. Leo Soliu is there in the mix as well. So they are chopping and changing positions too. We've got 2 trios battling away for position. So Gazlawski is your leader again from Fedric. Robinson waiting for the other 3 to come through past the line, but I'm fairly sure it's Herring in front. It is. So Herring ahead of Simpson and Soliu. So we've got 2 great battles. This is going to be tricky for our camera crew to keep an eye on. 2 great battles at the same time. But look, we're getting it done because we've got the drone watching the 4th, 5th and 6th battle. They're just about separating each other now as a result of Herring getting ahead. But these 3 are still on it. And Max Robinson again, this is just a lovely ride in the Northamptonshire countryside for him in 3rd place, isn't it? He has no need to push it. He can just sit behind Mason Fedric, gauge where he's putting the bike and think, well, there might be a move, but there doesn't have to be.
Yeah, this is that battle again for 4th, 5th and 6th, back with the leaders on the drone, and then from the circuit cameras through turn 3, Christmas corner, through the kink, right-handed at Inkermans, down to Ashby one more time. Gazlawski, Fedric and Robinson, 1, 2, 3.
Through the traffic, Sebastian Gazlawski working his way. He's already dealt with Ella Mosgrove. Now they're dealing with Austin Wilton. this is where Federic's actually lost a bit of time to Max Robinson. So Robinson can try and make a bit of a play of it, and look, they've lost a lot of ground there to the leader, Sebastian Goslavski. This will do Goslavski's second place in the championship the world of good to secure it there from the hard-charging Mason Fedric, who's gaining a lot of points this weekend on Caden Herring. So it's going to be a really nail-biting conclusion for the top three in the standings. We already know the identity of the champion. That is the number 99, Max Robinson, but the other places are still up for grabs. And it's pride, it's confidence boosting, and it's a nice little end of season ceremony as well. You want to make sure that you're there in your white tie and tails, and you want to put on a nice little spectacle at the end of season annual awards. So it'll be nice to see which of the riders comes through.
Goslavski's made best use of the traffic, Jake. We say that so many times. How you use the traffic can dictate race wins, and coming second or third. That's Robinson up the inside, but again he's lost time, hasn't he, in the traffic?
Yeah, Fedric made full advantage of that, so that pretty much puts the leading battle to bed. With Sebastian Goslavski clearly alert and very aware of the situation around him. He's been able to make this lead his own. Mason Fedric has lost ground. He's still there in second, and there is Robinson in third, but they were a lot closer together than that. They just had a little bit of a headache getting around Jasper O'Neill-White. And of course, nothing that Jasper O'Neill-White did wrong there either. We have to bear in mind, look, there are no blue flags in these junior categories, and the onus is not on the slow rider to get out of the way. They have to stay on the racing line. They have to stay predictable. It's up to the riders that are overtaking to go around the back marker correctly. Last lap, and it's very much one-way traffic for Goslavski in front of Fedric and Robinson. Driving up the inside into Christmas, just working their way through the traffic on the last lap of the race. But it's been a very exciting adventure for this man. You can see that Fedric is losing a little bit of time to Robinson, but it's all come to a conclusion for this penultimate race of the season, and Sebastian Goslavski has won exactly when he needed to. Sebastian Goslavski takes the victory, two hands in the air. Mason Fedric second, beats the new champion Max Robinson to the line. And Caden Herring is going to have the job done in front of Leo Soliu and Leon Simpson. So as the race comes to its conclusion, it is going to be Caden Herring who finishes the job in front of Leo Soliu and Leon Simpson, all being well. And there is the conclusion of it. They have been riding all race long, and Herring will pick up the points. That's going to be significant in the end of the championship battle. And here is the results. Sebastian Goslavski in front of Mason Fedric, Max Robinson in third comfortably. Caden Herring ahead of Leo Soliu. Leon Simpson has to be content with P6 ahead of Cian Daly. Mason Hams is 8th, and then Jasper O'Neill-White and Ella Mosgrove are amongst the lapped traffic. So Sebastian Goslavski definitely securing second, but who will be third? That battle will come up later in the programme, but for the moment it's the FIM Mini GP UK 160. Tyler Humphries, Frankie Watson and Wilson Dilks from the sharp end. Can Hudson Cooper get out of the grid like a bullet from a gun once again? He's going to have a very hard charge of it as the race will continue right up at the sharp end. And don't forget that with Tyler Humphries on the verge of wrapping up this championship, it's all going to come down to what Wilson Dilks does in the battle with him for the championship fight. 10 to 14 years of age, the riders in Mini GP UK 160. So we battle on in close proximity. Want to start from Hudson Cooper again. He is so good off the grid here at Wilton Mill, but he can't quite overhaul Tyler Humphries. It's just as what happened in yesterday's second race. He does it again here. Can he take on Tyler Humphries in a straight fight? He can certainly take on Frankie Watson and everybody else. So as they work their way through Christmas for the first time, it's all guns blazing, and it's Humphries ahead of Cooper and Frankie Watson.
Championship as far as third place still on the line in this one. Two riders are going to the World Series, and that looks like it's going to be Tyler Humphries and Wilson Dilks. They're top two in the championship. If there were three going, I tell you what, we'd be in for an absolute humdinger in the two races today, because that would be between Cooper and Frankie Watson, and it's still the case that the third place in the championship is going to be between these two riders. That's them picked out at the moment. Cooper heads Watson, but plenty of laps to go in this one, and if Watson can get ahead of Cooper, he could still clip him in the championship for a top three spot. If only top three were going to the World Series. That's the onboard cameraman picked out. Here comes Watson up the inside.
Oh.
He runs wide though, and does Hudson Cooper get it back? He does.
Sadly, he's made a habit of that this weekend, hasn't he? In the races yesterday, he was making some great moves, and he pulled off a cracker for the lead, if you remember. and unfortunately just ran wide. He got so deep into the braking zone that he drifted wide, and that's exactly the same as it works out here. So unfortunately, exactly the same situation, exactly the same scenario. So Tyler Humphries leads, Hudson Cooper second, Frankie Watson third. Look at Wilson Dilks all over the back of him trying to come through. This could be one of those battles that goes all the way to the death between these riders as they work their way in through the final hairpin. Back onto the home straight again. Tyler Humphries away and clear. Hudson Cooper second, then Frankie Watson and Wilson Dilks. And this is very much going to be one hand on the championship trophy for Tyler Humphries with Wilson Dilks down in P4. This is not in the game plan. Up the inside of Hudson Cooper comes Frankie Watson. Oh, that's much more like it from Watson. Currently fourth in the championship, fighting to get into the top three. It may not be enough to send him to the World Series, but bragging rights and then a good setup of momentum for 2025. That's what he can bank here at Wilton Mill. A great ride so far, back into second place. Now, has he got time, momentum and pace to get after Tyler Humphries in the lead?
Well, let's hope that next year, those that make the decisions on these things, we've got 3 riders at least going from the UK to the World Series in both the 160 and 190 class. This year it's just 2 riders from this class and 3 from 190. Let's hope this year, or next year rather, there's a change.
Well, considering how good the quality of the racing has been, there's certainly plenty of arguments to suggest that it's a good decision. Humphries leading, but look at Hudson Cooper and Wilson Dilks. Dilks is going to dive in at Christmas. Oh, what a move from Wilson Dilks. Plenty of guts and determination into Christmas corner. Don't forget, he is second in the championship and wants to try anything possible to get back on terms with Tyler Humphries. He's got a big points deficit though. It's looking like a bit of a miracle for Wilson Dilks to win the championship, but certainly a lot more than that to get that place on the World Series package. Second place is looking pretty neat and tidy for Wilson Dilks. He's just got to stay in it essentially and stay in this fight. So back on board with Hudson Cooper as they work their way through the hairpin. Second place Frankie Watson in front of Dilks, then Cooper. Josh Herring we just saw a little bit there. There is the battle further back. That is the 11 and the treble 11. That's Leo Hams and Harry Rafferty. One thing we should talk about actually while we're in the mix of it is that in 10th place we've got Chloe Gleeson. Now if you remember, she went down yesterday in the first race, had to miss the second race due to some discomfort. They've checked her over, they've made sure that she's okay and she's back up and racing and she's in the top 10. So full credit to Chloe Gleeson, what a comeback. Yeah,
because I had some concerns about her when she went down. She didn't look like she was moving at one stage, but then the medics came out, got her on her feet, and she has recovered, a bit battered and bruised. She missed the second race yesterday, but she's back today, and that's great to see.
Just winded and a little bit shaken up, but fortunately no more than that. Riders working their way through. That's the likes of Gern Stevenson, Lucas King, Ollie O'Gorman and Ollie Evans, still having that never-ending battle for 6th position. Even though they're a bit spaced out today, they are still having that same sort of battle. Oh, bit of a moment there for Ollie O'Gorman. I wonder if Evans was able to get a bit of an advantage on him there as they went into the braking zone there for the boot. Meanwhile, Frankie Watson still trying to get away from Wilson Dilks and Hudson Cooper. This is what you don't want to see if you're Hudson Cooper. The 2 bikes becoming smaller and smaller and smaller in the distance. You want to keep them as close to you as possible, and they are just becoming invisible dots.
Later in the race, coming through the left-hander down to Ozier's one more time, the hairpin. It's a good overtaking opportunity if you get the opportunity. Back on board here with Hudson Cooper. Out of Ozier's onto the inside, back straight into the boot one more time. That's Josh Herring there. He's in 5th place. Here comes Dan Stevenson in 6th. Back on the drone. That's a battle for 11th place. Hams and Rafferty battling there. That's Lucas King going through the picture.
Ollie O'Gorman and Ollie Evans are still locked together. They have not really been apart all weekend long. Behind them is Chloe Gleeson. You can just about see her coming into picture, and full credit to her for still going under the circumstances.
Yeah, she'd typically be with those 2 riders in front, but of course after that big crash yesterday, she is riding injured, so nursing some bruising.
Yeah, and of course it's important to keep an eye on riders like her and Stevenson and King and Evans and O'Gorman. They are the riders, don't forget, that in 2025 will most likely be exchanging the race victory. back on board with Hudson Cooper as we work our way through the final turn, trying desperately not to get caught up in the traffic jam. Trying our best to not lose ground with Leo Hams and Harry Rafferty just in front of us. They have been racing literally every lap for this entire race weekend. The two races yesterday, they were locked together, and now here they are again. Oh, careful! There's a big difference in speed, but you've got to time it right. There is no onus on the rider in front, the back marker, to get out of the way. It's up to the faster rider to ride around the back marker.
Yeah, as we've said before, no blue flags in this championship. The riders have to make their way past, and it's all part of the learning curve on your way to racing. In first of all, it'll be the British Talent Cup for a lot of these guys on their way to BSB, on the road to MotoGP.
Yeah, it was so exciting. We're still waiting, of course, for our next British World Champion. We've had plenty in Superbikes, but in Grand Prix, one of these riders could well be that next candidate. Last lap for our race leader, Tyler Humphries, who's had a very solid race out front. No problems at all for him. Now, interestingly, Dan Stevenson is reeling in Josh Herring in the closing stages, so fifth position might just be up for grabs there, as Frankie Watson is there in front of Wilson Dilks. But this is, of course, the moment for Tyler Humphries when the championship will be won. He's been working so hard all season. He has not wanted to lose ground. As we see O'Gorman and Evans having their little duel, but here comes Tyler Humphries. It's been a long season, but now comes the moment we've been waiting for him to win this championship and get it done in fine style. There is Hudson Cooper in fourth position. The battle for second, third in the championship will still be ongoing, of course, but the winner is Tyler Humphries, and that's job done in the Mini GB UK 160 in the FIM category, as he did in the BMB category yesterday in round 5. So that's double trouble for Tyler Humphries, and that is the title won. Frankie Watson second, Wilson Dilks in third from Hudson Cooper in P4, and Josh Herring will come through in fifth position, just ahead of Stevenson. Hams and Rafferty's race-long battle goes the way of Leo Hams. So Humphries wins from Watson and Wilson Dilks. Hudson Cooper P4. How close was it in the end between Josh Herring and Dan Stevenson? My goodness. Ollie O'Gorman and Ollie Evans took their fight right to the end as well. Chloe Gleeson, very admirable to come home ninth ahead of Leo Hams after her big accident yesterday. So back onto the starting grid again here at Wilton Mill, and it's the Mini GB 160 UK series along with the 50s. Travis Shaw, Frankie Watson and Tyler Humphries on the top of the grid. Hudson Cooper, then Bradley Curtis and Josh Herring. 6 riders, all with the ability to win. Dan Stevenson, Lucas King and Archie Hooper not far away. Riley Robinson P10, Leo Hams in P11, and Isabel Wingate there in 12th position, taking a brief break from commentary this weekend. Harry Rafferty, Arnie Carr and Thomas Bond, Riley Paisley and William Round. So off we go. Oh, a terrible start for Travis Shaw. That is one of the most difficult moments in the race for him. You cannot afford that, because then you get caught into the pack and there's a good chance someone will trip over you. We're on board with Tyler Humphries as Frankie Watson takes full advantage to take the lead. We're back on board with Shaw. Well, boy, has he got to get back on the horse quickly, charging his way for third position. Wow, into Inkermans. That is one of the toughest places on the circuit to get an overtake. Travis Shaw, that's one way to bounce back. That was proper style.
So how many times we see onboard cameras that we have fitted to the bikes, and we end up with them line astern basically, which is what we've got in this one. Travis Shaw heading, our other cameraman. In behind him now, Tyler Humphries, but for how long? Because we know Humphries, he doesn't do thirds and fourths.
Yeah, he doesn't. This is going to be an amazing fight back, and he's going to pick them off one by one, isn't he? So there is a bit of a slow start for William Round, sadly. I think he may have had an issue on the starting grid. But Frankie Watson is your leader. Tyler Humphries now into second place in front of Travis Shaw and Hudson Cooper. Here we go. We're on board with Shaw. Hudson Cooper, the other cameraman, is just behind us, of course. Tyler Humphries will really want to get this done on Frankie Watson up front. Look at Tyler Humphries. You don't see him looking behind very often this early in the race. It's almost as if Tyler Humphries is wanting a little bit of a point proven here.
Yeah, and that's an invitation generally. If you're Travis Shaw there looking at the onboard camera, well, if we can see him looking behind on the onboard camera, then Travis Shaw can see him looking behind, and that is generally when you get a rider, or if it's in karting. I know when we see karting, Jake, we commentate on that, we see a driver look behind. It's an invitation to the driver, or in this case the rider, to make a move, because you had a look, you've seen me, I'm throwing it up the inside, you can't then turn in on me. And talking about turning in, here it comes Travis Shaw up the inside to make the move, and makes it. Does he make it stick? Yes, he does. We're back on board with the other onboard cameraman. Great onboard action.
Excellent stuff from Travis Shaw, now up to P2. So we've got 3 cameramen in a row here, because we've got Travis Shaw, Tyler Humphries and Hudson Cooper, who has been riding with a camera most of the day as well. But Cooper is actually falling into the clutches of Bradley Curtis. Hang on, is that Curtis in front? I think that was Curtis in front of Hudson Cooper. It is. Look, he's managed to get ahead. Very good riding indeed there from Bradley Curtis. Look at the gaggle of bikes behind. You've got Carr, Rafferty, Wingate, Hooper, Riley Robertson, Riley Paisley and Thomas Bond all the way down the order. So that is going to be one heck of a battle all the way through this race. Wait till the leaders get to that, because that's going to be about 6 bikes that they've got to navigate, all within inches of each other.
But again, we say this before, there's always someone to play with. You've got other riders in this championship that are on your level. You might not be on the level of the leaders, but at least you've got other riders who are on your level and you can have some fun with.
Moment there from Tyler Humphries into Ashby. Go back on board with Travis Shaw, who is now of course into 2nd place trying to catch up to Watson. And there is the man, Tyler Humphries. You may have noticed there that he's got a big golden number 1 that he has fitted to the front of his bike. He's already celebrating being the champion a little bit early. We love that. Excellent. So here is the battle further back. This is Herring versus Stevenson, and there is Bradley Curtis. Very impressed with Bradley Curtis in the first part of the race here, working his way to 4th position ahead of Hudson Cooper, who is no pushover.
No, exactly, and we've talked about riders for 2025, Jake. That's another one.
Is that Travis Shaw gaining some ground there? Yes, it was, in the slipstream of a back marker. So Frankie Watson was being a little bit tentative. Travis Shaw is actually gaining ground. Look at the lap times. Shaw is taking about 0.2 of a second per lap out of Frankie Watson. So this is going to be a furious battle between them once Shaw catches up. And after Shaw took the win earlier in the weekend, we know that he's got race winner written all over him.
No doubt, he's got the fastest lap. Here's that battle further back in the field. Great battle up in the Christmas corner. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th. All in the picture off the drone.
So that's King, Hams, Rafferty, Wingate, Robinson, Hooper. 6 very talented riders is just getting out. Bradley Curtis gets past, I think that was Thomas Bond that they were trying to lap there, because William Round had already been lapped.
Let it not be said that we only cover the leaders.
Well, indeed, no, there's some great battles. And these guys in sort of 9th to 14th, keep an eye on them, because next year they'll be in the top 5.
We keep saying it, and I'll say it again. I don't apologise for it. You've got to win your midfield battles, because it might be for midfield this year. We're looking at the battle for 4th. It might be for midfield this year, but next year it might be for the win.
Right, so that was Curtis getting back ahead of Hudson Cooper. So Cooper clearly got him somewhere. Bradley Curtis was able to retaliate, but now we've got Travis Shaw all over the back of Frankie Watson. He took another 0.3 of a second out of him on the previous lap. So this is getting pretty spicy for the lead of the race. Tyler Humphries still in 3rd place, and I have to say, looking rather decidedly average for a change. Tyler Humphries is usually the dominant force of these categories. He's just having a decent ride and a chill out in 3rd place.
Again, this battle for 9th to 14th, it's raging. Off the drone to come through the left-hander down to Ozier's. One more time. Move put in there. Back on board now with Travis Shaw on the onboard camera. This is for the lead up the inside. Does he get it?
Oh, how close was that?
Now, look at how much has that cost him. That's cost him about 25 bike lengths.
My goodness, Travis Shaw and Frankie Watson. Well, that was a very rude awakening for Shaw, wasn't it? I'm going to make a perfect, clean overtake. Oh, no, I'm not. Frankie Watson, he's not going to let me have it.
Yeah, and of course, then you're in the wrong gear, so it costs you time coming out of the corner. Again, 9th to 14th, great battling going on all the way down the field.
Considering that Travis Shaw just banged in a 52.6, Watson banged in a 52.7. Look how much time, 2 seconds that cost Travis Shaw. That's adamant from Frankie Watson. I'm not letting you have this win. You want it, come and get it, but you're not going to have it easy. There is Josh Herring, 7th position at the moment, running in front of Arnie Carr. So there is the race leader we just saw there, Frankie Watson on his own. A bit later into the race, here are the leaders. Travis Shaw and Frankie Watson going through the traffic. So that was Lucas King they were taking on. They just managed to get to the front of that 9th place battle, led by Lucas King, with the likes of Leo Hams, Riley Robertson, Harry Rafferty, Archie Hooper, and Isabel Wingate, who is currently in the middle of a debate as to whether they continue on in Mini GB 160 next year or do they switch it up to the Ovali 110s. They have been testing both bikes mid-race to try and mid-season, to try and figure out what they do in 2025. The plan is still up for negotiation, and you kind of think, well, these bikes all look the same. Oh no, they are very, very different to ride, and you take on an Ovali 110 in a very different riding style to the way you take on a 160 or a 50cc. They couldn't be more dissimilar. Look at Travis Shaw diving for the inside in the double radius. Oh my goodness! Travis Shaw, that is such a hard overtake to make. And the crowd go a bit bizarre. Right, that's the reason why. Frankie Watson with a mechanical problem.
Yeah, you'll see him on the left. There he is on the left. He's broken down. Going into the last lap. Frankie Watson breaks down. Disaster.
The amount of bad luck Frankie Watson has already had this year. There he is, being escorted back into pit lane. Frankie Watson had this race win on a plate. No wonder Travis Shaw got a daring do move in the toe of the boot. Frankie Watson was destined not to finish this race. That is devastating for Frankie. He has already had all the bad luck in a season that any rider doesn't deserve.
Yeah, he didn't deserve that, to be honest. He had the race in his pocket, but then obviously had some sort of mechanical issue that allows Shaw to get close to him and then make the move in that corner there last time round, as it all came to a rapid end on the left-hand side of the track here as Shaw takes the jagged flag. It all came to an early end last lap round for Frankie Watson. Unfortunately, we're on board here with Tyler Humphries. Humphries goes through in second place. Just behind him is Bradley Curtis. Good finish for Bradley. He is definitely a rider to watch out for next season, Jake.
Yes, indeed. Travis Shaw takes 2 out of 3 then this weekend so far. Tyler Humphries, the new champion, in second. Bradley Curtis, a brave third. Hudson Cooper from Dan Stevenson and Josh Herring. Arnie Carr comes up 7 places to P7 ahead of King, Hams and Robinson. But bitter disappointment and bitter gall for Frankie Watson. There's one race to go for every category. Join us in part 2 of our Round 6 programme when the British Minibikes Road to MotoGP concludes.